probably file for this to get dismissed. I'd like to make it to discovery. I think that we owe that to the world. Anyways, you guys, we are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. On behalf of the entire world, I will see you in court.
Well, since Candace's series aired to her over 4 million followers and subscribers on YouTube, even journalists have come forward bagging her opinion. Here's Tucker.
Is the Bridgitte Macron, Emmanuel Macron, President of France's wife, was accused first by French journalists and then by my friend Candace Owens, who's one of the nicest people I've ever met, actually.
Yeah, she's
very
incredible.
smart.
She's incredible.
She, and everyone's always, Candace Owens a hater. Candace Owens is the opposite of a hater, but she's a very kind person. But anyway, but she comes out and she's like, I will wager my professional credibility on the claim that Macron's wife is actually a man. And I was like, oh, Candace Owens, I love you, but I think this is too crazy.
Yeah.
And then it turns out she's right.
Yeah.
What is so? Can you just explain? My mind is blown.
Well, my wife has been, by the way, the Candace Owens pieces on this are phenomenal. And so I'll be sitting there, and my wife, I'm like, what are you watching? She's like,
Yeah, so Candace Owens, she vows she won't be silenced and says the lawsuit threatens her First Amendment rights and framing it as an attack on independent journalism. We'll continue to follow this story. New developments this afternoon in the Epstein investigation. Subpoenas have been issued for Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's counterpart, who is currently serving a 20-year sentence. Subpoenas have also been issued for Bill and Hillary Clinton. Representative James Comer posting this, which you're looking at right here. He says, I have issued a subpoena to Ghislaine Maxwell for a deposition to occur at Federal Correctional Institution Tallahassee on August 11th, 2025. The Department of Justice is cooperating and will help facilitate the deposition at the prison. The subpoenas come as part of a broader probe into Epstein's network and the powerful figures who may have been connected to his crimes. Well, there's been a push for Lara Trump to run for North Carolina senator, but Lara announced today that she is not going to run. Lara says after much consideration and heartfelt discussions with her family, friends, and supporters, she says, I have decided not to pursue the United States Senate seat in North Carolina at this time. She goes on to say, I am deeply grateful for the encouragement and support I have received from the people of my home state, whom I love so much. And while I am not running in this election, my passion for making America great again burns brightly, and I look forward to the future wherever that leads. However, RNC Chair Michael Whatley will run for Senate in North Carolina with Trump support. That's according to Trump advisor Jason Miller. President Trump is turning up the heat on the Federal Reserve. He's making a visit to the headquarters today in D.C. His visit comes as many are calling for Chair Jerome Powell to resign. Trump's visit comes amid growing controversy over a $2.5 billion renovation project at the Fed, which Trump and allies believe is riddled with waste and management, high interest rates making it hard for Americans, and Powell hasn't lowered them. While Powell's term ends in 2026, Trump has made it clear he wants a Fed chief who will cut interest rates. Now let's go to the Trump truths of the day. You are looking at truths from President Trump as he goes to the Fed today. He put these out after he turned up the heat on the Federal Reserve. He talked about Elon, and he also talked about Columbia University in his post. You can check those out right there. Right here, he says, everyone is stating that I will destroy Elon's companies by taking away some, if not all, of the large-scale subsidies he receives from the U.S. government. This is not so. I want Elon and all businesses within our country to thrive. In fact, thrive like never before. The better they do, the better the U.S. say does, and that's good for all of us. We are setting records every single day. So that's coming. President Trump sharing some good news for Elon, and we know that there's been some rift between the two. And of course, when we see positive between the two, we hope for the best and that their friendship will resolve. All right, we have more to come here on Spin Room. Mike Lindell is at the White House today visiting with President Trump this evening. We'll check in with him and Dr. Douglas Frank next here on Spin Room. Stay with us.
Friends, we all know the truth. Big Pharma and the federal bureaucracy have made a mess of healthcare in this country, and boy, that's an understatement.
That was on me.
President Trump signed an executive order to bring prices down, and that's a great step.
And then I forgot
but we know that real change takes time.
I couldn't read how small.
There's one pharmacy that is already stepping up.
So I forgot to put the Fed into the big beautiful dog, and I forgot to put Trump's tweets.
They're not waiting. They're taking action now with a summer sale that gives you the power to take control of your health.
Are they good? Everybody good? Everybody on?
Right now, through the end of June, you get 20% off site-wide, no insurance required. Did you hear that? 20% off site-wide, no insurance required. They work with licensed doctors in all 50 states.
Can Mike hear me?
And they ship fast, straight to your door. Whether it's ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine,
let Mike know two things.
Methylene blue, antibiotics, emergency kits.
We have pictures of the Cyber Symposium.
This is the time to stock up. If you believe in medical freedom, if you're tired of waiting for someone else to fix things,
and the giveaway, the $5 million giveaway.
FamilyPharmacy.com.
And we also tell him I made a side-by-side of him and Walt Disney, the comparison.
20, Lindell 20. For 20% off your entire order. That's all FamilyPharmacy.com Lindell.
What do you say?
Promo code Lindell20. Let's protect our families, defend our freedom, and make America healthy again.
What did he say?
Together.
With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com.
It has been a great week for Mike Lindell and Dr. Douglas Frank. They are both joining us today. Mike is live in Washington, D.C. Dr. Frank is joining us as well. Hello, guys.
Good to see you, Vanessa.
Hey, great to see you, Vanessa. Yeah, at the White House.
Big week, big win yesterday.
Yeah,
yes, so I brought Dr. Frank on today because we want to talk about the big win yesterday. I know, Dr. Frank, you played a huge part in this, so I'll let you both take it away on how this came about. And Dr. Frank, I know you also talked about with me yesterday how this plays a big role for Mike's future cases. So go ahead and let the viewers know what's going on.
Mike first, brother.
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay, everybody, it's a great day for this country. I've been on the media for 2 days straight now, like the old days. They have every one of them have called except for the three that won't talk about elections, either good, bad, or ugly, and that's Fox News, Newsmax, and Salem Media. all the other media outlets because we won the appeal of the $5 million in federal court. They said it couldn't be done. It hasn't been done in 40 years, everybody. And it was a big surprise. The mainstream media and all the fake news calling me, they actually put out good pictures of me. They, pointing to God and smiling and giving God the glory. It was absolutely amazing. And this goes back to this famous cyber symposium, everybody, where I put out I invited all the cyber guys there, $5 million challenge, anybody that could prove that the data was not from the 2020 election. This data was back with a lot of it was Dennis Montgomery's that worked with the CIA. Of course, it was from the 2020. Everybody there said it was from the 2020 election. Well, this guy came out of nowhere, went to arbitration, lost. Then he went to binding arbitration, and all of a sudden they come out there, yeah, you won. And I'm going, what? How do you win? It'd be like this, Vanessa, going, everybody prove these are not reading glasses, okay? Give me a break. So then we appealed it to the district court. The district court came back and said, yeah, they did something wrong, but we're going to make Mike pay the $5 million anyway. Well, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take his. Now what can I do? And they said, well, you could go to federal court, but they're not going to overturn it, Mike. I said, well, we're going to do that. With God, all things are possible. We did that last year. Well, just yesterday it came back, and you know what? Here we are today. Vindicated, open the door, no man can shut. It's going to help that great man in that White House there going back in time to get the 2020 election to prosecute the people and then open the doors to get rid of these electronic voting machines. Like, look at that picture there. That's not such a bad picture. You should see the stuff they usually use. I mean, that's NBC. But they all of them have been really amazing, Vanessa, that are reporting it. Now, you would think there was a rumor that Sean Hannity had said something, but it was just a rumor. But Fox News, Newsmax, Salem Media, they stay silent on this. You got to ask yourself why. Cowards? They've already been sued. What are they going to double sue them? Triple sue them? I mean, lawfare, it's done. They ain't going to be able to sue anymore, everybody. They're caught. They're caught. That we have broken through the biggest cover-up of the biggest crime this world has ever seen.
Way to go, Mike.
I'll let you respond to that.
I think it's important to emphasize one of the points Mike made. When we wrote the rules for this, Mike, remember Kurt Olson and I wrote those rules. We said and I was on the committee that evaluated the claims against the $5 million. And we said right in there, if you disagree with the claim, you have to go to binding arbitration. And so it went to binding arbitration. And you testified at it. I testified at it. And the rules were clear. The contestant had to prove unequivocally that the official data that you had provided did not reflect information related to the November 2020 election. Well, it obviously did. And so it was an open and shut case to me. And so when the arbiters, those three judges we met in Colorado there, when they ruled against you, I was amazed. But it's binding arbitration. And that's what's so amazing about this is that actually, and I remember talking with Kurt Olson about it afterwards. I said, Kurt, this is binding arbitration. We're in trouble. And he says, we're going to appeal. And guess what? Right. I mean, to overturn binding arbitration is a huge deal.
Yeah. It's a huge thing, but there's a couple things there, Dr. Frank. You said Colorado. This is Minnesota, which is just as far left and crazy as Colorado. So it don't matter. Either state, it's still a surprise coming out of the state of Minnesota. But you got to realize this wasn't just overturning binding arbitration. We went to district court on that appeal, Kurt Olson said, and the district court in the appeal said no. They made mistakes, but we're going to still make Mike Lindell pay. So then we took the appeal and appealed the appeal to federal court. And that's the part that's so rare to overturn anything. It's been 40 years, Vanessa, since something like this has happened. And it couldn't have come at the best time. God's timing is great. And with the stuff the president's doing and that we're out there doing and that Dr. Frank's been doing for 4 years now. He's like a Johnny Appleseed of election crime, going state to state, county to county. This is now we shouldn't have. They can't point back and say, well, your information is false. Your information is a lie. This is what they do, people. This is what they did with that information. Vanessa, I don't know if you know this, but they've used this $5 million case against us for about a year and a half.
Yes.
In April of 2023, everybody, this guy came out of nowhere. And this case on a Tuesday in April of 2023, Fox News made a dirty deal with Dominion for $787 million. Either Fox is in on it, their insurance company, or China paid for it, because Fox, we kept asking Fox for, hey, do you want some of our data? They wouldn't take it. Then on Wednesday, the following day, Mike Lindell's data is all wrong. He loses $5 million. He's a liar, blah, blah, blah. Then on Friday, they fire Tucker at Fox News because he wants to start talking about electronic voting machines. If you don't think that was a week of trying to silence this country about people like Dr. Frank, it's a wonder all they've done is take your phone. It's a wonder they haven't come after you for lawfare and everything else. But you've been attacked just like all of us, calling you a math teacher when you teach kids with 141 IQs or better. This is just disgusting what they've done to our country.
Right, Mike, they said that in your trial in Colorado. They wouldn't let Dr. Frank come on to testify because they said he's just a math teacher. That was actually said in court.
Yeah. Yeah, and they actually used
Dr. Frank, we think higher of you.
Right, and they actually used the $5 million challenge. They brought that up, too.
Yes.
And my lawyer says, well, they're appealing that. And then they bring up Dr. Frank with his evidence. This is different from the Dennis Montgomery evidence. And they go, oh, he's just a math teacher. And we don't even know if he's graduated from math or from, I threw that in there. But I'll tell you, everybody, and then what the media has been saying to me today, you guys, is they've all been going, the ones that tried to put that in their article, well, didn't you just lose a Colorado case? I said, no, one huge. My Pillow won. And there was more cases than just one going on there. My Pillow was totally vindicated. Had that not happened, everybody, you would have advertisers afraid to advertise on every station, news channel, newspaper in the country, because they'd be afraid. Well, if you sue I told that to the New York Times. Can you imagine you guys write something that knows something and they go and they sue you and they sue the advertisers? I mean, this was a huge win in Colorado. And everybody remembers, Vanessa, you were there, I think. The last thing, Dr. Frank, that the jury heard was their horrible lawyer, their what I call him, part of the biggest criminal crime family the world has ever seen. He says to the jury, he says, we all know Mike Lindell had a net worth in the tens of millions, and now he's 10 million in the hole. But we ask you for 60 million today, or you can go more if you want for what his defaming things that he did. And if you do that and it bankrupts Mike Lindell and My Pillow, so be it, because we need to send a message to this country and to everybody out there that you don't question our elections and put out disinformation. That's what he said to the jury. You can't make that up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he also said, we just don't want him to talk after your attorney gave her closing statements that you have the right to freedom of speech. And so he comes behind her and said what you just stated, Mike, and then points to you and says, we don't want him to talk. So, right. That's what they're trying to do, is shut you down. I want to real quick. I know, Mike, you have a meeting with the president this evening. While you're here, two things. I want to
it's not
go to Dr. Frank.
It's not a meeting with hold it. It's not the meeting with the president. It's a very important meeting, but I want to make that clear. It's not with the president.
Okay, good to know. Okay, didn't know that. Okay, good to know. Dr. Frank, you were telling me last night on the phone that this sets an example for future cases for Mike. How so?
This is really important because what people have been saying that the data that Mike have been debunked in court because of this case. And so the fact that this is overturned takes that ammunition away from them. I mean, even in his defamation case, it was brought up, right? That's the point. So this is a huge advance for Mike in his other cases as well, because now they can't say that his data have been debunked, because they haven't been. That was appealed and overturned. And it really wasn't debunked in the first place, but that was the spin that the media was putting on it. And so the arbitration case didn't say that Mike's data was debunked. It said that that Zeidman proved it wasn't connected to the 2020 election, which of course it was. So, but it puts a huge gun back in Mike's hand, if you want to put it that way. It gives him a weapon. He can say, no, my data are legit. This hasn't been debunked at all. It takes that out of the media. It's a powerful tool back in Mike's hand again. So that's what I was explaining to you last night.
And that's a very good point, because Vanessa, as you know, in Colorado, that's all they did was try and debunk the Dennis Montgomery evidence, which we couldn't put out now because it's still under a government protective order. But I had all Dr. Frank's evidence. We have all the cast vote records. We have canvassing data. We don't need the other data. It's all the same crime. It's all the same crime, everybody. You can't change the truth. So this is a very important point you said, Dr. Frank, and now I'm doubly happy. I'm so excited now, and because you're right, you bring up a great point. This is a double win today, everybody. This is exciting, but go ahead, you guys, keep going.
I want to bring up one more thing before you go, Mike, because you know you've made it big whenever the people who are against you want to change Walt Disney's face because you two look alike. So for the people at home who aren't aware yet, there are news articles out that state that there are some on the left and some in the woke crowd who want to change the face of Walt Disney because you both look alike. He looks too much like Mike Lindell with My Pillow. So I did this side by side, Mike, a picture, if we could pull it up, of how similar. Okay, they're telling me they don't have it yet. Of how similar you do, and I think it's the mustache. The mustache gives it away.
Yeah, and you know, last night my wife called me. I was in Minnesota, and she called me up. She says, you know what they're doing? They're Walt Disney. They're saying you look like him. She goes, you're way better looking than him, or whatever. And I go, because they got a picture of him. He's very older. He's like a lot older. And she's all upset. And I go, what are you talking about? And she goes, yeah, Walt Disney. They're all upset because they put up this thing, I guess it's some picture as you come in or something, and it looks like everyone's going, it looks like the My Pillow guy. And so the media is grabbing this. So evil Disney World and evil Disney, which remember owns ABC, who owns Jimmy Kimmel's. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I don't think I look like him, but we both have a mustache.
I don't think so either. I mean, your hair is parted the same. You have the mustache, but that's about it.
But you know, but the whole point of this was it was a hit job, like you know, boy, if you're, you know, either Disney's behind it, or people behind it, a couple people, you don't know, because don't they have better things to do? And I'm sure that people aren't standing outside of Disney World going, I'm not going in because he looks like the pillow guy. No, my pillow sales will go up now. You know, I don't know. I sit here, I'm in the middle of Washington, D.C. I'm going to go right down this road here by people from all walks of life, from Democrats, Republicans, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to all come up to me, and they're going to want pictures. They're going to say hello, and that one evil statement's going to be said. They're going to come up, and we as a people we all want paper ballots hand counted. We all want secure elections. And now it's probably become the number one concern now, because you got everything else. You got the border solved so fast. You got they can't argue about too many things anymore. Our president's doing so many great things getting solved. The biggest concern is going to, you know, the final frontier, but it's also the biggest thing. Everything comes from stolen elections, and we all learned that. And I think everybody knows that. And these people that maybe there would have been hecklers a few years ago, which I never came across, but let's say there was, nowadays they're the minority. They're just a few that would be out there, because it doesn't hold water. And maybe that's the thing now too. Maybe this big appeal will go, well, Mike was telling the truth. Mike was right. You have people that were maybe on the fence over there going, wait a minute, he was right all along. And we had to put up with 4 years of our country getting destroyed, and our economy getting destroyed, and our invasion of our country. But you know what? Everybody, we had to have that. It was meant to be, because if we didn't have that, people's eyes would not have been open. and every day more and more people's eyes are getting open. So we're very grateful for the last 4 years.
Mike, any hint at what your meeting's about tonight? Is there anything that you can tell us or not?
No, I really can't. But I will say that one of the things is how the president beat me to it. I'm not beating the president, everybody. The president beat me to it. And I mean, he was way ahead of it. We had talked about it a month and a half ago, but he's already got most of it done. So it affects most of the country. And but it's not related to elections at all. But I can tell you tomorrow. And because I think the reason I can is because I think that part might be completed. I want to make a great announcement of how it's going to help all companies across the country and the people. This goes all the way back to the China virus.
All right. Sounds good. Dr. Frank, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think it's important to notice the way the media is treating this. So in other words, Mike's data have been vindicated. But what the media are spinning against him is saying, oh, Mike's been let off. He doesn't have to pay the $5 million after all. They're not saying that he won his appeal. They're saying he's being let off having to pay. See the difference? It's important that people understand that Mike's data now have been vindicated. They haven't been undermined. So the whole idea that all around the country as I travel, I hear it over and over again. Oh, Mike's data, Mike's PCAPs have been debunked, and here's the evidence that's been proven in court. And I'm like, no, it wasn't proven in court, and I have to go through the whole argument about what the case was really about. But nevertheless, that's the way it's spun in the media. So undoing that is important. But the media isn't just saying, okay, yeah, Mike wins after all. Well, no, they're spinning it. Oh, he was let off. He was let off. He doesn't have to pay the fine.
Some of them, though, Dr. Frank, some of them, if you guys look at the article written by the Associated Press, I know that guy, Stephen. He wrote a really good article, and it wasn't just let off. There's a few like that, but I was surprised. Generally, they're very for them, I think it's the best. Compared to Fox, who said nothing, it's the best reporting in history. Okay, but I tell you what, what I will say is this: you brought up a good point, Vanessa. Dr. Frank goes around the country, as you know, and meets precincts and little counties. I think he's done every state but 2 at the last count. Thousands of stops along the way, thousands of speeches, and I will tell you, even down to the micro level, like he just said, they're asking that. Does Mike's been debunked, Mike's been this. He'll be able to use that at the micro level better than anyone now. Pull up one of those articles and say, hello, hello. And that's going to be a big thing. It's going to be very important. And it's just one less block we have to deal with, because it's hard enough, everybody, as we go around the country with these uniparty Republicans that block us at every turn. Oh, did I say that? Yeah, you can ask anybody on the ground in the United States of America, and they will tell you their biggest blockers are uniparty Republicans. Is that true, Dr. Frank?
100%. Everybody thinks that, when I'm in Oregon, they think, oh, it's the evil Democrats. And I say, In Kentucky, it's the evil Republicans. Kentucky has 105% of their people registered. Oregon's got 105% of their people registered. It isn't about R&D.
Right. No, it certainly isn't. And people say, well, who stole this election? This isn't about one election we've been fighting for, everybody. It's all our elections. I've said it before. In the 2024 election, they stole 9 House members and the representatives, and they stole 4 senators. This just happened. This the Republicans stole, or that it was on the Republican side. Now you come around there, I'm sorry that they stole from the Republican. But it goes both ways. Remember, this is the uniparty. If they don't want a certain candidate, like that Democrat down in Georgia that got 0 votes in her own precinct where her and her husband and her daughter lived, they had to open up the machines. So, Dr. Frank, was brought up to me earlier today, and we were here at the White House, and I think it was my interview with we were doing with Allison, and she brought up a good point. Or at least it sparked in my mind. It's like, if this president is doing such a great job that by the midterms come, everybody in the country, he might have 70% of the people are going to vote Republican. And now if they steal those Republicans, it's going to stand out like a big deviation. And people are going to demand that these machines get opened up. And hey, we got to look inside once and for all. And by the way, everybody, and this is announced on your show, Vanessa. I don't know if I said it earlier. We put up all of the evidence now. The big three, the cast vote records, the data files, and the Mesa County image, everybody, right out of the machine that Tina Peters did the backup. Not just the report, but the actual image. You can see for yourself. Get yourself a nice little cyber guy, and you go in there and check everybody that thinks there's not evidence. You go do that. All of it's up there, and also we have selective code put up on Lindell TV. You guys can go to the menu and watch that. That movie's about Tina Peters and election crime, so I'm very excited, Vanessa, that this appeal and even that Disney thing, it just gets more awareness out there. You know, I'll tell you, when you've got a lot of stuff to show the world and they're not even attacking you and you can't show it, it's a scary feeling. And I've been there too, where they don't attack. They don't. Yesterday, Dr. Frank, I'm going to ask you, yesterday, I didn't know. I said to Emerald this morning, yesterday, I said, I don't know if they're going to attack or just do nothing. I expected them to not even report this, that we would be the only one reporting it here on Lindell TV, or maybe on Steve Bannon's War Room, which the president talks, so I didn't even go on there. So, but I was very surprised it made worldwide news, except for the three cowards, Fox News, Newsmax, and Salem Media.
You know what you need to do, Mike? You need to get back on Kimmel's program again, because I remember when you were being interviewed by him, he said, "Oh, but if Trump had won, you wouldn't be doing this, huh?" And guess what? Trump won, and
you're doing it right.
Doing it.
And I have asked Jimmy Kimmel to come back on. He's off till this fall, till September. He's mourning his big loss of his buddy down there, Stephen Colbert. You know, he's in mourning right now, but maybe he'll come back on his show. Maybe I'll be his first guest. Remember, I was his first guest when it was back with an audience for the China virus, but we'll see what happens. So I go on there anytime, you know, because, how's he going to say that? He goes, but he did say, and the last time I was on in the machine, he said, Mike, I really believe you believe what you're saying. You know, it kind of changed from the first time. He did say that, and so that'll be interesting. In the meantime, we're on Vanessa's great show, and Vanessa, thanks for having us on. You were great on. I do have to get to this meeting, you guys, but you're a great blessing to Lindell TV and everybody. If you guys want to be a part of being the biggest voice in the country, we are publicly traded now, MLMC. We're publicly traded on the over-the-counter stock, and we're going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. Our voices are getting bigger, so you can all be a part of it, and we become a place to be. When I came here, Vanessa, too, today, I got here, and this is the first time. The last time I was here, the other media didn't even pay attention. Now they're all over here taking pictures and wanting to know stuff, and
yeah.
So.
Of course.
But,
well, tell everyone we said hello as you walk by them. I know the fake news media is all around there, Mike. Fox and the other big two that didn't cover your big news yesterday. Tell them hello. Yeah. Maybe you should stop by there and just break in, Mike, and while they're on air.
Well,
just what do they call it? Photobomb?
You know what I should do? I did this once to Fox News. It was kind of funny. It's when I was running for RNC chair, and I went right up to their booth in the back of the room. I said, "I'm here for my hit," and the guy looks at me and goes, "Are you sure?"
I love it. That's great.
Can you imagine going live? The Murdochs would be going, "What? Mike Lindell? Shut him up! Shut him up!" Sean Hannity would be going, "Oh my God, shut him up!"
Oh yeah, that would be good TV. Well, Mike, enjoy your meeting. We'll check in with you tomorrow to see how it went, and just have a good meeting this evening.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Vanessa.
Yeah, Dr. Frank, I want to keep you around for a little bit because I do have some more questions for you. So talk to me about, we ran, I don't know if you were tuned in at the top of the show. We were talking about Candace Owens and Bridgitte Macron filing a lawsuit with her. On her podcast, she's saying that she believes that Bridgitte Macron is a man. And so there's a defamation about, what she's saying on her podcast. Candace Owens is saying, I defend what I said. This is a part of my freedom of speech, my First Amendment. This compares to Mike Lindell, in my mind, calling someone a traitor and getting sued for that. Where is the difference in being able to say what you believe versus we're going to sue you for saying that? Like, why are these lawsuits coming in because of people saying what they believe or calling someone a name? What's your thought on that?
It's really defamation works like this. If I say, Vanessa Broussard is a man, and I make that claim, it is defamation unless I have good reason to believe it, and I have good evidence. You can't just go around slandering people for no good reason. But your freedom of speech allows you to say what you think. But if you're going to do it in a public way, you need to have substantiating evidence. So, for example, that's why when Mr. Lindell was suing Eric Coomer, he had good evidence that the machines were corrupt and that Eric Coomer was involved. He had me in his office teaching him all the fraud we'd found. He had every reason to believe what he was saying, which is why they didn't want me to testify in his case, because it added credibility to the fact that Mike really believed that. So, you can't just willy-nilly accuse people of things in a public way. That's defamation. So apparently Candace has good substantive reason to believe what she does, and if she has, and she's even staked her whole career on it, so she must have some pretty compelling evidence. So that takes it out of the defamation category and puts it into freedom of speech category, and so that's where that goes. I know Candace, by the way. I spent an afternoon with her with my daughter Nellie, who has Down syndrome, and they hit it off great. They were cuddling and snuggling for hours. So Candace is a sweetheart.
Well, that's what Tucker Carlson says as well. I think he used the exact same word. She's a sweetheart. And we ran this earlier, a part of his podcast, where he said, there's no way. And then I watch her shows because she put on this Becoming Bridgitte on YouTube to her over 4 million followers. It's a series. Yeah. And she has, I haven't seen the entire series, but I've watched parts of it, where she goes through this timeline where she evidently has evidence, according to her. Yeah. And now Tucker's even saying, wow, she was right. So Tucker sees this and agrees. So I can see where it's like, oh my gosh, here's this woman who's very popular and well known, not just in America, but all over the world with this podcast. Millions of people watch. Tucker Carlson is viewed all over the world. He's saying that I'm a man. I'm just going to sue to shut these people up. But then again, it goes back to the whole First Amendment. What they say is we have evidence that shows, we've seen pictures, we've seen this, we've done some research, and it's just not adding up. So this leads me to believe you're a man. So I was just curious, what you thought about First Amendment versus defamation, and
because this is very relevant. Why did Dominion sue Fox News? It was a defamation lawsuit, and a lot of people, it's similar in a lot of ways. They sued Fox, and then the media interpreted it as is because of the election stuff, but it wasn't. Fox was being sued by Dominion for defamation, and that's the reason why Tucker had to leave is because he was saying things on the air that he didn't believe. How do we know? We had his emails and his private communications, his texts between him and his colleagues on Fox. So that's why the Fox defamation case, why they had to settle, because they had the goods on Tucker, that he was saying one thing on the air, but they had his private communications proving he didn't really believe it. See, that's why they lost that defamation lawsuit. and you see where this is going. And so that's a beautiful counterpoint showing that what's going on. Now, lawfare is lawfare. I have a friend who's, I won't use his name on air, but he lives in Southern California. He's a wealthy man. And he attended J6. And when the federal attorneys came to him and said, we're going to sue you, we know you're innocent, but we have hundreds of millions of dollars and you don't, and we're just going to sue you until you can't afford to fight back anymore. That's lawfare. And that's basically what they've been doing against Mike. And that's Mike believes what he's saying. Dude, I've spent hours with the guy. I slept in his house and rode in his plane with him for weeks. He really believes this stuff. So there's no doubt in my mind, and there should be no doubt in the court's mind, that he really believes. So that's why, in his case, the defamation lawsuit, why he's going to appeal that part of it. But the beautiful thing about that last suit is that my pillow was exonerated. That's important. I rambled on a little there, but I think I connected the dots for you.
Yeah, you did. And I think that's great. And I think that's great for so many people who are, it's all over the headlines today and last night about Candace Owens getting sued. They're asking for a jury trial, which is interesting to me as well. But it's very rare that you see the president of a country and the first lady suing a podcaster in America. I'm not sure if I've heard of that before.
Do you notice that she's using the same strategy Mike did? You remember in the early days, Mike wanted to get sued. He was going, Dominion, Dominion, Dominion. Why was he doing that? He wanted to get sued because he wanted to be able to bring the evidence into court. That was the whole point, because most people couldn't bring any evidence to court because they were being rejected on standing. So he wanted to be sued. That was the whole point. And so it was disappointing to him that I didn't get to put my evidence into his court case, for example. But I think that's yet to come. There's all these things you notice are starting to add up in our favor, which is fun. It's taken a while, but it's interesting. They took Mike's cell phone a couple years ago. They took mine the very next day. So I know that things are going to keep happening because they haven't given us back our phones yet. So there must. Well,
that's the first I've heard of that. I was actually, here's a fun little story. I was actually the first media reporter to interview Mike after his phone was taken, but I did not know about yours. So that happened the very next day. Tell us about that.
I heard your report. I was in Oregon that day, and it was a Tuesday. I remember it very clearly, and you were reporting on it, and you were asking about it. And remember, during your interview of him, he said, "Yeah, they cornered me in this Hardee's drive-through." Mike's a sucker for a milkshake. They cornered him in this Hardee's, and he says, and they were asking me where Dr. Frank is. He said that in your interview, and so I heard that, and I thought, why do they want to know where I am? And so that night, it was a Tuesday night, I was flying back to Cincinnati, where I live near Cincinnati, and I was thinking in the plane, if they want to know where I am, they're going to be coming after my phone too. And so I thought, you know what? I pulled out my computer on the plane, and I got out my backup, and I backed up all my phone stuff. And sure enough, when I got off the airplane that night, late on a Wednesday night, I got off the plane, and there were the federal agents there waiting for me, and all the airport security, and they came up to me, and the two officers said, they showed me their warrants. If I wasn't going to comply and hand over my phone, they had another warrant to search me. But I got off the plane, and when I saw them, well, actually, I went to the potty first. That's what we do when we get off planes. But when I came out of the potty, I saw them all coming towards me, and it's like I knew what it was. I was ready, right? Because of your reporting. And so, I made eye contact with the agents. I smiled at them, went up, shook their hands, and said, "What can I do for you, gentlemen?" And they're like, "Well, we're going to take your phone." And so we had a very amiable conversation. In fact, the guy, the agents aren't the bad guys. It's the leadership in the FBI. So the agent said, "Well, I have to take your phone." And I said, "Okay, do you mind if I call my wife first so she'll know why I'm not getting home when I'm supposed to get home?" And he said, "Okay." And he watched me do it, make sure I wasn't doing any funny business on the phone. Called my wife, Donna. "Hey, honey, I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. They're taking my phone. The FBI's here." And so then he said something very interesting. He said, "Dr. Frank, what I'm going to do, since you've been so cooperative, is I'm going to take your phone down to our lab, and I'm going to make a forensic backup of it, and then I'm going to drive it back to your house tomorrow." And I said, "Well, speaking of forensic images, guess why you're here taking my phone? It's because Mike Lindell and I arranged to get forensic images of Tina Peters' machine. in Mesa County. And so I got to explain to the agents all this stuff was going on. Well, he didn't return the phone the next day, so I called him up and said, hey, what's going on? And he said, well, the federal court in Colorado, ding, 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 attention, attention, the federal court in Colorado wants us to keep the phone and wants us to hold it. So really what this is about, they could have gotten all the evidence off the phone they needed right then. The point of these prosecutions is not to actually get to the bottom of things, not to pursue the truth. The point of these is to punish us, right? It cost me $1,000. Had to buy a new phone the next day. It's inconvenient. They want to punish Mike. And taking Mike's phone is different than taking my phone. When you take Mike's phone, he doesn't even own a computer. He runs his business on his phone, and he uses his phone to control his hearing aids. He's got hearing loss. So taking his phone away is a big deal. Me, it's just inconvenient and cost me $1,000. But it was nice because I was featured on national media the next day. So for that $1,000, I got national credibility. I must be over target because they're after my phone. So, in retrospect, I don't mind. But they still haven't given it back, so that makes me suspect.
That was going to be my next question. I can almost swear they have not given it back because they haven't given Mike's back.
Nope. So,
all right.
And it's interesting. We'll probably both get them back at the same time because it's the same subpoena. It's the same case. It's a Colorado federal court. Yeah.
Well, let us know if that day ever comes. Dr. Frank, always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks so much for coming by Spin Room today, and good job on helping Mike with that case. Big win yesterday. I know you had a lot to do with it. You worked hard on it, and give everyone a round of applause who worked on that because it helps him for the future cases like you mentioned as well. So congratulations to you.
I love Mike. He's a true patriot, and since I first met him, I throw myself on the sword for the guy. He's the real deal, and I remain committed because of him and his. How can I run away from the battle when he hasn't run away from the battle? It's like we need to stay engaged.
Yep, we're all in this war together. Dr. Frank, good to see you. Thanks for coming on today. When we come back, a warm welcome for hard workers inside the Oval Office today. We'll show you next.
Swollen limbs, joint pain, inflammation, skin aging, and cognitive decline. These are just a few of the awful side effects that you can experience due to poor blood circulation. And popping ibuprofen is not a solution to the pain. It's only temporary relief, and it's only masking the true problem, which is inflammation. Researchers are saying to add this Antarctic super nutrient to your diet. I'm talking about omega-3 fatty acids, but not just any form of omegas. These particular omega-3 fatty acids are sourced from wild-caught krill. Has been shown to support healthy blood pressure, circulation, brain health, as well as reduce inflammation, swelling, and joint pain. For a limited time, you can grab Native Path Antarctic Krill Oil for up to 66% off plus free shipping. Just go to getkrill.com/Lindell right now to get your special offer. Whether it's being a weekend warrior or spending time with your family, feeling your best is the key to doing the things you love. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Nirvanta. It's a natural solution designed to help you stay active and live well naturally. Nirvanta is a topical blend of all natural essential oils like frankincense, myrrh, and a proprietary gold standard plant stock extract. It's perfect for your hands, feet, knees, back, or anywhere else that needs a little extra care. Use Nirvanta proactively as part of your daily maintenance routine, and you're guaranteed you're going to feel the difference. Simply massage Nirvanta in for at least 60 seconds, 2 to 3 times a day to get the best results. And if you're not completely satisfied, you get your money back. No questions asked. There's simply no risk and no reason not to try Nirvanta today. Right now, you get 15% off with code Lindell exclusively at nirvantahealth.com. So stop reaching out for that medicine cabinet. Get Nirvanta instead and experience the difference. Go to nirvantahealth.com. Use code Lindell to get 15% off today. Nirvana Health. Live well naturally.
Welcome back to Spin Room, a look at how Wall Street closed the day. You're looking at MarketWatch.com. Big change from yesterday for the Dow. Really up in the green yesterday. Today down 316 points. The S&P 500 stayed in the green just a little bit, up 4 points. We'll take it. And the NASDAQ up 37 points. Again, this is all to close out the day on Wall Street. President Trump welcomed workers who are renovating the Rose Garden inside the Oval Office today. Take a look. He signed autographs for everyone. You know, this made their day. The renovation started in June, with grass being fully replaced by a patio-style surface. And the Rose Garden is expected to be completed mid-August, so just a couple of weeks from now. Those workers have been out there for hours in the heat every single day. So today, President Trump thanked them, brought them into the Oval Office, and signed autographs. And as always, we pray during the hour every day here on Spin Room. So here's today's verse of the day from the book of Psalms. The Lord is the portion of my inheritance and my cup. You support my lot. You will make known to me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. In your right hand, there are pleasures forever. And again, that comes from the book of Psalms. And that'll do it for us here today on Spin Room. A reminder that you can follow me and Lindell TV on all social media accounts. We are there 24/7 breaking stories. All of these platforms listed here. Vocal, which is Mike Lindell's social media platform, VOCL. Truth, President Trump's platform, X, Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Lindell TV is on YouTube. Lindell's YouTube is pretty new, fairly new, so give us a subscribe when you go to YouTube and make sure you never miss an episode. So make sure you're following us on social media. And we'll remind you too to go give to Mike Lindell at his legal defense fund. You can go to mypillowtrial.com. Any little bit helps. As you see, he's working big today in Washington, D.C., having meetings, trying to save this country, have fair elections. He's used all of his personal money to endure this fight. So you can help donate at mypillowtrial.com. Also, go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code Vanessa. You can always shop there, save extra money. I'll give you my promo code. It's right there on your screen. Vanessa, save big, extra savings for you. And we'll see you right back here, same time, same place tomorrow. Steve Bannon's War Room is next. Thanks for joining us. You're watching Lindell TV.